everyone, welcome back to Busy Garden Life. I'm here with Megan and we are picking up boxes of peaches from the peach truck. So we didn't get to grow peaches like we initially had hoped. So this year I'm gonna can them because my kids love peaches. And so I just decided to buy some and pick them up. So stay tuned. We're gonna get these home and we're gonna can them later on.
We got so many.
Hi everyone. So we are back into the kitchen tonight with our 3 boxes of peaches. Now I'm so excited that we were able to get these just because last year we grew a bunch of small peaches on our trees and I think we grew too many for how small the tree was. I should have pruned it a little bit more and gotten some of those peaches off to allow other peaches to get bigger. But it was too much energy going into all these small peaches that we just didn't get any production from it. And then this year we've got nothing, no flowers, nothing. So I don't know if next year I need to prune it a little bit better or if it just needs to be fertilized. I'll have to research that. But because we don't have them this year, I went out and bought them and I am going to show you how I can peaches. So these aren't completely ripe yet. They're still a little firm. So when you get peaches, you want to make sure they're a little bit soft and they give in a little bit, right? So I am going to just set these out on a sheet pan at room temperature for the next couple days. It's Wednesday, so I'm hoping by Saturday I will be able to can these, or even Sunday. Either one's fine, but I'm hoping it'll be at least for the weekend. So I am going to just get these all onto the sheet pan, let them ripen for a couple days at room temperature, and then on Saturday or Sunday, whenever they're ripe, I am going to show you the whole canning process so you can can peaches too. Today is the day we are canning our peaches. They've been sitting out for 3 days. They are nice and ripe and they smell so good. You can just walk over to where all the peaches are and just smell them. And they taste good. We've stolen a few. So before we start, I'm gonna kind of get you familiar with the setup. So I have set everything up already, kind of gotten everything ready. For me, it's easiest to do that to help be a little bit more efficient and for things to go a little bit quicker. So, the one thing we haven't done, I need a small saucepan to put the lids in to warm those up, please. So just get a small saucepan from there. Okay, so I have washed my first batch of peaches. We're gonna do this in 2 different batches. Typically, a batch is about 6 pounds, the deep ones, is about 6 to 9 pounds of peaches. We have 12 pounds. So with the 12 pounds, it's basically doubling what the typical recipe says. So with that, we should be making about 7 quarts of peaches. 6 pounds is 3 to 4 quarts. So I'm hoping combined we'll get about 7 quarts, which is perfect for a canning pot. My big canning pot will fit 7 quarts. So hopefully that is what we will be able to obtain here today. All right, so peaches are washed. And for right now, the next step will be to blanch them. First we're gonna score them on the bottom, make a little X on the bottom, and then we are going to blanch them in hot water for about 30 seconds, maybe 45 seconds. And then we're gonna submerge them quickly into ice water. So that way it helps to peel the peaches a lot easier. And while we are scoring the peaches, I have my water starting to go so that we can bring it up to a boil for blanching them. And then I also have my water bath canner going. I have my 7 quart jars in the water bath canner. I like to do it this way where the jars are heating up in the canner, that hot water, so that they're nice and hot when I put the peaches in it. Okay, so we have that going on the stove as well, and then Megan's getting a saucepan ready with the lids just to kind of keep the lids nice and warm before we put them on the top. So we kind of have that going on the stove just to prepare. Now, today I am also doing the raw pack method for the peaches. Raw pack means that we are not cooking them or warming them up before we put them into our jars. The only warming we're doing is the quick blanch and then the ice bath to stop that. If you wanted to, you could add your sliced peaches to the simple syrup and warm them all the way through before you can your peaches. We are going to slice our peaches and put them right into the jars and then pour our simple syrup over top of it. With our simple syrup, we are also using the least amount of sugar. There are many different percentages of sugar that you can have, and I'm just doing a 20% sugar. Peaches are sweet enough as it is for us. We don't need to over sweeten them, in my opinion. We just are going to use a 20% simple syrup solution. So that is what we're going to do. Another thing that you need is some fruit preserve. So peaches, once they hit the air, can get oxidized and turn brown. Now, it doesn't hurt the peach. It's just like a aesthetic thing. It looks prettier when they're not brown, right? So I do like to use the fruit preserve after once we start cutting them and slicing them. All right, so that's kind of a quick runaround of what we are going to do and how we're going to do it. I will kind of help you along the way. So first thing we're going to do is score the peaches, but I kind of want to show you the setup over here on the stove real quickly. So you can see we got our water starting to boil here for blanching the peaches, and then in here I have my water bath canner going. Now this can take quite a while to boil and warm up, so I'm starting that right away because it could take the whole time that we are getting the peaches prepared to do that. And then we just got a little saucepan of water. We're gonna put that on low. Yep, that way the lids are just warm. It kind of helps to stand it. We'll bring it to a boil and then turn it down to low. That way the lids are nice and sanitized, washed, and warm when we put them on. Cold water bath with ice here, and once we blanch them in the hot water, we're going to put them in the cold water. And with this, all we have to do is continue to add ice every so often to make sure that the water stays nice and cold for the peaches to really cool down. Okay, so now we have all of our setup ready. We are going to, 7 of them. We are going to score our peaches. And to do that, we're just making a quick X in the bottom. I will also show you once we start slicing the peaches how this is actually super helpful when you slice the peaches by scoring them as well. I like to make a decent score there. So I'm just going to go through. We're going to do this whole batch of peaches here. It doesn't typically take too long. Okay, so we're gonna leave the cutting board here, and we're gonna head on over towards the stove. Hopefully that water is just about ready to boil. We have a nice induction stove, so typically when we start boiling water, it goes pretty quick. If you don't have that, then you might be waiting for that water to boil a little bit longer, but we are gonna take it over and hopefully get them blanched. All right, so our water is up to a nice boil here. See if you can, and we're just gonna drop a few peaches in at a time. I actually like to use this to drop it in the hot water too. I'm gonna put them on there. Teamwork makes the dream work. We'll do like 6 of them at a time. That's fine. 6. Yep. And then we'll just kind of let them go for a couple seconds.
Look how big this peach is. Mm-hmm. So big against this one.
All right, so we are just going to finish blanching and pulling these out of the cold water, and then we will head back to the cutting board to peel and slice them. Okay, so we've got all our peaches out. Now before we start doing this, I am going to start getting our simple syrup ready. We are doing the 20% solution, so we are going to do, it's 3 cups of sugar, which I am doubling it because we have double the batch. So it's 3 cups of sugar to 11.5 cups of water, and that will give you about a 20% sugar syrup solution. Now I'm just gonna dump the water from our boiling water that we blanched them in, kind of wipe out the pan, and I'm just gonna use that pan over for right now, so that way I'm not dirtying a whole nother pan for just the water and the simple syrup. While I'm getting the simple syrup, Megan's gonna start peeling the peaches. It's so nice when you score them because you can just peel them right off. It's super easy. All right, and not only am I gonna start the simple syrup, I also need to get our bowl ready with the fruit preserves, or powder, I should say. So I have 3 heaping tablespoons of our fruit preserves powder, and then I'm gonna add 2 quarts of cold water to it. All right, and I have 2 bowls of this, just because we have so many peaches, it's going to use up both bowls. All right, so we got our fruit preserves water, our simple syrup is on the stove, starting. And then we are just going to, Maggie's gonna help peel and I'm gonna slice. Now, as I was saying earlier, the scoring also helps you slice your peaches. I found an easy way to slice the peaches because they are slippery and slimy after you take the peel off. So if you just take your score mark and you follow that paring knife all the way down to the pit, and then you do just an 1/8 of a turn in between the score marks, and then on the next score mark, in between, all the way around till you get your 8 slices.
Which is really nice because
You get 8 slices of peaches in one. And then you just take it and you just peel it away from the pit. Some people like to take that fibrous flesh away from the peaches, but we don't mind it. It's just part of the peach, and so you could go through and cut that off once you take it off, but once you get half of it, most of it done, it just comes right off. Sometimes you get a little bit extra peaches that we get to eat. All right, so we're just gonna go through and we have to slice all of the peaches. We're gonna put them in this water until we are ready to can them. Okay, they are all sliced. Our simple syrup is all ready, and I can hear our cans in the water bath canner boiling. So I'm just going to drain the first set of peaches. We're gonna keep the other one in there. We'll keep those other ones in there till we're ready to use them. And then I am going to grab the cans, or the jars, I should say, out of the canner first, and we're just gonna set them on our towel. Make sure you're setting your hot jars on a towel on your counter and not just directly on your counter. This one's a little wet. All right, so I'm gonna bring our simple syrup over here next to our jars and peaches, so that way we just have it all together here. Now these jars are really hot still, which I have found that when I do this, even though the jars are hot, I have found I have never broken a jar by doing this method. I have broken a jar by trying to keep them warm, and then they just end up cooling too much. So another method that works great is if you wash them in the dishwasher and you have the heated dry, then you can time it so that you're pulling the jars out of that hot dishwasher, and that has worked for me as well. But everybody has their own way of doing it, and this is how I like to do it. So we are just going to fill the jars with the peaches. Now peaches need about 1/2 inch of headspace, so that's where our measuring tool here comes in. I usually just go by it being all the way up to kind of the shoulder of the jar. that's plenty of room.
So there, I got some more room.
So I am going to, here, why don't we get one of our bamboo sticks. Those are my favorite. Get a little bamboo stick. You can use this, but if you grab a bamboo stick, it won't pierce the peaches as much.
Yeah, I can see all the air bubbles coming out.
So all you have to do, so to get the air bubbles out, all you have to do is kind of go around the sides. Here, use the non-sharp side. And just nice and gentle. It kind of gets some of the air bubbles. It doesn't have to be too much, too bad.
Yep, and then make sure it's all...
So we are using quart jars. You could also use pint jars, but
jars.
Pint jars. We just tend to eat enough peaches. If I took a pint jar out, then it would be gone in a day. So these will be gone in 2 days instead. All right, so our last one we're filling.
And I'm just gonna move it to the side because my mom will.
It's crazy how quick some of the stuff can cool down. Okay, so gotta kind of work a little bit faster, I think, because it's starting to cool all the way down. All right, so we're just gonna finish getting the air bubbles out, wiping the rims, and putting the lids on. And I am going to get them right into the canner right away. Okay, and last, you want about 1 to 2 inches above the mason jars. Now when I do this, I'm filling the mason jars up before I'm boiling them. So there's a lot of extra water I'm going to scoop out real quickly. That should be good. So for peaches, for quart jars, we want them to process for 30 minutes. So we're gonna set our timer for 30 minutes. Pint jars are 25 minutes. So we're just gonna let it go, and then we're gonna take them out, set them out, and let them cool for at least 12 hours and hopefully hear those seals popping. Okay, so our 30-minute timer went off. Our peaches are complete. So we're just gonna use our canning tongs to pick them out. Okay, so we have them sitting out, and that is it. We are just going to wait 12 hours and wait for them to seal. Hopefully they seal. We've already started our last batch of peaches. We're kind of getting them boiling and cooling, and I'm gonna put the jars in the canner. So that is it for today. I am going to post a link in the comments of all of the tools and supplies that I have used today. So if you want a quick way to just kind of click and add it to your Amazon cart, go ahead and use those links. It's super easy, and these are all must-haves. And I bought a lot of my stuff 10 or 11 years ago when I started canning, and it's still going strong. So it is worth the investment in order to purchase the stuff outright if this is something you want to do. So that is it for today. Thank you for joining us in canning our peaches, and stay with us, get notifications, subscribe to the channel, and you can get all of the updates on our garden, our homestead, and any canning preserving that we are going to do for the rest of the year.
If you have any questions, let us know in the comments below.